ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talk Scottish Football, episode number 56. Joined again by the regulars.
Thank God for that. Thank God for that.
Thank God for what?
Oh, I've missed the whole. Every week we're talking. Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. Yeah, it's came and gone now.
We've gone for 56.
We've gone for 56.
Can we just talk about how you said Scottish there? Scottish.
Scottish. I didn't say it like that. Sounds like Drew McIntyre. Aye, no, because when you say it fast, they say like Talk Scottish Football, right? But
Talk Scottish. It's American, mate.
It's because you rush and you get into think it's a habit. It's a dirty habit. Could be worse. Aye, it's a dirty.
That's enough about your dirty habits in this show.
I mean, it could be worse. The way he says 7, that annoys me.
7, is it?
Aye, 7.
7, sorry, 11. This is like Barnes.
Thanks for joining the game. That's how he's doing. I mean, this is a
7.
You say 7.
I'll probably say it how it should be said.
Well, probably is, but 7 sounds right.
Aye, to me it does anyway.
Nah, the number 7. Anyway, David, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Nice tan picked up, as you were
I
saying.
don't know if it's a tan. It's
Well,
like a
nice redness picked up, as you were saying.
I'm really excited for this weekend because Dunfermline won a game last week, so I'm excited. Big weekend in the playoffs and the championship. The split's getting tasty. There's loads going on. It's
okay.
I love it.
And this is your 3rd day in a row with the show because you done the podcast on Tuesday.
It's my 4th day in a row.
Oh, it's your 4th day in a row.
Mr. No Days Off. I'm like Darren Young. Mr. No Days Off.
Wait till tomorrow. That's you. You get your well-deserved rest.
Friday.
3 days.
Until you decide you're having a booze. Listen, I can't wait tomorrow night at 4:30. Listen, I'm gonna have a beer. You want to just do the show tonight? I can just fucking tell it's coming.
Never. I'm looking forward to hosting. I've got the dream team. I've got the Friday night special.
Dirty Jambo.
The dream team, come on now. Just basically throw us under the bus.
Me, Kieran Auld, Adam Kennedy. What a Friday night cast that is.
Yeah, that's great.
Friday night dinner.
I'll tune in, mate. Tune in.
Gateway pelters in the comments. The chats are brilliant, by the way.
I'm
loving these live shows so far. See, just like I was driving last night.
Oh, an atmosphere.
I was driving up to my mum's last night. I had it on. It felt like I was listening to the radio, and you were sitting talking about Tommy Knight and what his meal deal would be and all that.
Decent, eh?
That was when I was flapping and I was like, I actually am prepared very well for this show tonight. Right, what are we going to talk about?
I just find myself looking at the comments, laughing a wee bit and then trying to re-engage,
Oh mate, brilliant.
Talking about atmosphere, listen to this one.
Right.
How can you have a party in space?
Don't know.
Because there's no atmosphere.
That's such a rifle, by the way. Oh my god.
Right, it's good, but
it's terrible.
I'd like to announce that David's leaving Talk Scottish Football.
I won't be full paced in a row, will it?
Next live show will do there'll be that's your contract terminated. Look, we're going to have to talk about quite a lot today. We're hopefully going to get a quiz in for the end of the show, as we always get. We're going to be taking questions at the end of the episode as well. David's kindly enough done that on Twitter as usual. But
I've got questions, so it'll be David against Ryan today. For a change.
Oh, have you got a quiz?
Oh, yeah. Oh no, I haven't.
To the death. Right.
Somebody sent me one. It was from last season. Shit. Okay, that's not ideal.
Well, we'll hope that we get one as the show goes on. We may as well start talking about the football. Of course, Tuesday we previewed games. It's time to review games. Celtic, Aberdeen. We'll start there because I just want it out and done the way. I don't even want to talk about it. It's the worst game yet.
Really?
Honestly, the worst.
It actually looked quite entertaining.
We are 35 games in now, aren't we? 35 league games played. And that was the worst of a bad bunch for me. It was shocking.
Well, I mean, let's start with the positives first.
What positives?
Well, it's another
for Aberdeen.
It's another big step for Lee Griffiths' road back to fitness. I mean, 11 months down the line there, this is another important step. Just getting those minutes. Because what he needs, wee tea cake, he needs minutes.
The whole Griffiths situation does baffle me because it feels like whenever he's on the park, it does make a difference and he actually does something. He comes on versus Rangers, wins a penalty.
It's weird.
Do you know what I mean? He comes on versus Aberdeen, he scores a goal.
It feels like, you get glimpses of something that is potentially there to make him a valuable player to Celtic, but then when you look at the whole situation overall, he has no business right now being at Celtic. I think most fans would agree with that, right? But the thing that annoyed me was that last night, it just, along with Griffiths, we can take him out of the equation just now, the whole team, they just don't want to be there. Mm-hmm. Nobody does. Edouard is away with it. I don't know, and I've been so against the argument of Edouard is lazy, uninterested, and all this for months, for years. Do you
don't think it's confidence with Edouard though?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's been flying on the crest of the wave for about 2-3 years, and now it's, to me, it looks more like confidence.
Yeah,
and he had a big opportunity in the match that he passed it to the goalie, and usually he'd put that away, mate. So I don't know if it's
went live after the game last night. And we were talking about Edouard and the whole situation and why he's maybe playing like this at the minute, and people are giving it the whole, and people are saying he's uninterested, and I think there is a slight part of that there, but you can still see it in him. See when he's not scoring, you see in his face he is annoyed at himself. I think he knows that there's something wrong in a minute. It's very deep rooted, But I think that just goes around the whole team at the moment. It's just a shit show.
My big thing with Edward just now when I watch him is, I think I've mentioned this before, is I think he looks like light. I don't think he looks heavy enough. He looks really slender. He looks really slim. He doesn't look like. See, when I think about him at his best, right?
Wish it was me.
I think he's pretty. I always think of him as being pretty powerful. You know, he can hold people off. He's got a bit of strength about him as well as pace. I see him just now, and he's just getting too easily shoved off the ball. He's not, and maybe that is just confidence. But he doesn't look
that's
to
what
be,
most people. That's what people continue to bring up the argument. It's because he can't be asked. Maybe he's not given the shift in that he should.
You see, when he was scoring goals, did he have a body language that showed, you know, that he was top class?
He used to get slagged off for not celebrating.
See, watching the highlights yesterday, that is probably the most emotion I've seen for Edward. To be honest, I think you could tell that he was a bit annoyed at himself.
I absolutely love him. I'll back him to the death. I think that at the end of the day, it's just a problem that goes around the whole team. Because yesterday there was no fight, there was no want. Turnbull had the only kind of energy in the game when he kicked out. Who was it he kicked out again?
Was it Dylan McGeoch?
I think it was
maybe,
McGeoch, aye. That was the only bit of passion they showed the whole game, and it wasn't exactly a good show of passion.
But I'm sorry, why is Hudson Edward even playing?
Why is any of the players playing? Look, this is what. Right, we've not even touched on this. John Kennedy came out and said he was going to make changes. Right? He did.
Okay.
What was the change? Dropping Barkas out of
the whole talk about it was that Scott Brown's last game versus Rangers. Is Sorrell going to come back in? And everybody was talking about it in the lead up, and then the team comes out and he's in. I thought that was a strange one, to be fair.
If Ayeti's going to stay, why is he not playing games?
I know.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
It must not.
It's the same with Karamoko Dembele gets to the park for 8 minutes. That's hardly going to convince him to stay.
See what annoys me with that kid, right? Is every time I see him play, I think, wow, that's a player. He looks really, really good, and then he just never plays.
And Celtic have lacked wood this season. He's
exactly. There's a natural answer there. Like, you could bang on about Celtic all day. I think ultimately last night's performance is a culmination. Once more, do you know how many times I've used that word this season? A culmination. Every time we get beat or drop points, this is a culmination of everything that's went wrong this season.
I haven't even touched on defending for the goal as well.
Of course, aye. Defending. To
be fair though, Aberdeen, that I thought looked good.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it.
And it's almost like Stephen Glass has let them off the leash a wee bit. Johnny Hayes had a good opportunity where Callum McGregor comes in. I don't think it's a foul, to be honest, but again, it's an opportunity, and there was numerous of Lewis Ferguson. It was as if he was playing as a striker. You're watching the highlights, you're having to check back, was he playing up front or not?
So
because he was always involved.
Space.
He scored the goal, he had a chance, that hit the post, he probably should have scored. If it falls to a striker, he probably puts it in the net. But I think there was a lot of good things for Aberdeen. The worst thing probably is that they didn't pick up all 3 points because they had a lot of opportunities and they looked gutted when Griffiths eventually equalised.
Obviously goal scoring has been a massive problem for them, but if you remember back early in the season, Ferguson was one of the top scorers for a good couple of months at the start of the season. He was getting goals, whether that be just in the penalty spot as well. There was some from open play as well. So I mean, Stephen Glass has already obviously immediately recognised we're going to have a problem scoring goals, right? Who have we got that will score goals in the team? Give Ferguson a bit of freedom, and already you've seen the benefit.
I was listening to, and just to finish off the conversation so we can move on to the next game, I was listening to BBC Scotland last night the way up the road just because I wanted to get back and live stream, so I missed the last kind of 10 minutes of the game. So I was.
You didn't know Griffiths equalised till he came in.
Didn't know until I opened the door. He went, Griffiths just scored. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, I was coming up the road and I can't remember who it was. Maybe Willie Miller or somebody. They were saying like, Aberdeen fans wouldn't be happy with this tonight. The performance was still a bit to be desired. Like, if I was sitting there like, surely to Christ, if you were told new manager's going to come in from McInnes, get a win against a tough Livingston side to beat in the Scottish Cup, score 2 goals in that game as well, and then beat Celtic, sure you'd be happy with that. Of course, the drop points obviously
more the result than the performance, to be honest. Because if you look at the performance, they created a lot of
but that's what they've been wanting. That's what McInnes took stick for. His performance against the big two, it was never good enough. They were too reserved, they were too laboured, they didn't get in their face and have a go, and that's what they did last night. They created chances, and it was a lot better. And Aberdeen fans on social media, you can see the reaction already. That they're happy with what they've seen so far.
Well, I just want to get over and done with. We talk about Celtic. The end of the season is nigh, but sadly we've got another derby to go, so I'm looking forward to talking about that.
That's next week, isn't it?
Yeah, the next league game.
Aye, next league game.
So wow, yeah.
Next weekend.
Mark that in your calendars.
Nope.
No.
Well, we'll move on to Hamilton and Motherwell just now because a big blow for big chipper Brian Rice. I thought Hamilton would get the win in this game, but there you go. I mean, Mark O'Hara with the goal.
Good finish.
Very good finish. Not great defending though, I have to say. Big Chipper's not happy, man. Did you hear his post-match?
I did. It was a
very.
bit more reserved.
Can I just say, I love how he turned to you there because he knows fine well that I did not see it.
It was so passive aggressive for Big Bride Dodo up there, wasn't it?
Because he's done his aggressive bit. He can't continue to be. He said it himself. He can't get more trouble. Before we talk about the goal, what about the red card? I'm guessing you haven't seen it, but I wasn't going to initially show you up, but you've done it yourself now, so it's too late. I'm not sure what I make of the red card. It's certainly reckless.
Oh, it's a red.
But I mean, is it red for you?
That's a red for me, mate.
Red.
And I'm dead opposed to reds all the time. I
know, that's right.
remember Scotty Arfield fly kicked Bobby's Le Mans. I'm like, no, it's a yellow.
Is that when he like murdered them on the line, like he slid in on the line and killed him?
Put it in the back of the net, but it was on, so. But for me, in the modern day, it's a red card. I got away with that years ago, but for that, I think it's reckless. He's came in high, he's almost scissored them as well, going that way, Brian.
Jesus Christ, X-rated show tonight.
I think it's a scissor action and he's miles off the ball, so I can't stick up for Rice in this one. I think it's a red.
Who was it? Was it O'Donnell? I can't remember who the tackle was on there.
It was in the middle of the park. I can just remember O'Hara going off his nuts.
Maybe, yeah. Well, it's the way he wraps the leg round him, and whoever the other player was lucky he didn't have the studs planted, because I mean that could have been. I will go with that. It's a red card. Yeah. And he's only got his health set to play.
The problem was they just never created in the game. They
did have a chance early on.
Yeah, but apart from that, they didn't create. I seen a lot of people complaining. That's the game that they've been scoring goals in recently. Yeah. They've been very good at scoring goals against Motherwell, but they didn't manage to do so in this game. Motherwell keep a clean sheet. And it's another one, just to turn to the Motherwell side of things, that Graham Alexander will be very happy with, because, another win. They're getting the momentum now heading into the next season. He's going to have a very interesting summer ahead of him. Yeah,
I mean, he's obviously going to be pushing for top 6 next season, as are a whole host of teams that will be in that league next year. It's going to be really interesting to see that battle. But I think I said it before on Tuesday, I thought Aki's would get beat. I think they're doomed. I think that's the season Aki's goal, boys. I have to say it. I think that
looks like it. Starting to look like it.
Can we get fireworks for the show?
It's almost like nothing's going for them as well with the red card. I know that it is a red card, but up until that point it's still 0-0. O'Doffin had the chance early on that he should probably do a wee bit better way. But to get back to Graham Alexander, he'll be happy with that. It's Motherwell's first win since 2019 in the derby, which is crazy.
I not even noticed
considering they finished third last season. So
right, well, before we move on to the next game, I actually want to just talk about the breaking news that kind of broke before we came live on the air, because I meant to bring up at the Celtic game where it would have been suited. Patrick O'Mara leaves. He's away to New York Red Bulls. £3.5 million. We touched on it before we started rolling the cameras.
Great business.
The business there is unbelievable. I mean,
that's what I was saying.
I think he scored 1 or 2 goals and he's away for the same price that we bought him for.
Scored against Clyde or something.
Scored against St Johnston.
Scored early on in the season.
He scored a couple in pre-season. He was looking like he was going to get a run in the team.
Some people are saying it looked like he spent the summer in Berlin.
Yes, right.
Came back.
I'm personally gutted to see him go. I think he had a good future at Celtic. I thought he looked a decent player. I feel like he should have had so many more chances this season. But that is what it is. We've made our money back, I suppose, so it's not the worst, but it just adds to that conversation that we'll touch on in both our Celtic podcast and on the live tomorrow night when we have more time. How many more players are going to leave Celtic? Rangers fans will be licking their lips thinking about the collapse that
is
coming.
I think the big ones is Ayer and Edward. Coming to the end of their contracts, you would expect Celtic to cash in and try and get as much as they can for them, because I don't think they'll be signing a new contract.
Right, okay, we'll move on to the next game then. We'll move to Kilmarnock and Ross County, a 2-2 draw. I mean, it does Kilmarnock. Sorry. I don't know how I've done that.
As if you've never done it before.
Don't know how I've done that.
Kilmarnock, Ross County 2 each. I'm sorry.
Hasn't watched any of the games. I've watched
one.
What did you think of Lafferty's hat-trick in the 2 each draw?
I don't know how I've managed
the clean sheet that got that 2 each draw was phenomenal as well.
Stop making a mockery of me, right?
You're doing that yourself.
I'm going to be good at this host. I hope I'll put my...
I'll just like to announce I'm taking over the hosting for tomorrow night. We're going to have it.
Fuck off. I love how I've managed to do the Jamie Carragher there as well. Like I put my hand on his arm there, proper looks into the camera. Sorry, I don't know how I managed that.
Dev, Kilmarnock 3, Dundee United 0. Kyle Lafferty 10-minute hat trick. And what did I say? He was going to.
Can I just cut that whole segment?
No.
Big Laugh loves scoring at that side.
Post split.
What is it with him at this? What is it with this?
Even just that goal at Rugby Park.
That was the 3.
That's when he scored the double and Rangers won the league in 7 minutes. But
what a signing!
What a signing, by the way. What a signing. Kilmarnock will be lucky to keep a hold of him. I think Hearts or something like that will come back in for him, to be honest.
He's daft not to.
He's just scoring so many goals. Like, it's unbelievable. He just looks a level above the rest in the bottom 6.
Do you not think Tommy Wright can convince him to stay at Kilmarnock?
It's all about the money, mate.
Tommy Wright was very open post-match last night about how he wants him to stay, and he's told him that already. But I think Tommy Wright's in the same position as us, where he knows that if Lafferty wants to move on, a club will come in for him.
And I think it all falls down to money.
And also, you've got to remember, this is Kyle Lafferty, who not long in the door at Killie immediately hits the ground running. There was no time for him to get up to top fitness. He was just straight in the door, bang, 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 goals. And said on Tuesday he'd keep them up, stand by it, and God,
got to say, the first goal of defending is atrocious from Dundee United, but
there's a few talking points for Dundee United because the team selection was strange. Obviously, they've got a cup this weekend, which is more important for Dundee United. If you're Ross County or Hamilton, you're looking at that team selection, you're going, oh, fuck's sake, you could at least played Shankland for us or something. But yeah, Dundee United were just awful, and they've had that in them this season. We've talked about how up and down they've been, and yeah, I mean, what a result for Kelly. I would say they're all but safe now, because even if Kelly end up finishing 11th, I can't see anyone. I think they would pull it out in the playoffs when they needed to most.
Well, it's once again a result that kind of goes against Hamilton. What are you doing?
Just make sure you get the right game up next.
I was just looking through Twitter in case any news is about to break, but once again it's a result that kind of dooms Hamilton, doesn't it? Because Kilmarnock are kind of flying away to safety. The writing is on the walls, I think. I don't think there's much of a conversation held now about who's going down.
Listen, do not count out.
Do you think Big Chipper can get results in these last 3 games?
3 points off Ross County, I believe, if they still got to play County.
Yes,
they are.
So that'll be huge. I'd imagine Hamilton have got a worse off goal difference, so it'll be whether they can do it in the other 2 games.
It's a nice segue.
I mean, just Ross County have got a 4 better goal difference than Accies.
So if Accies win 4-0, it's all to play for.
And I think they play each other on the final.
The only chance they had of winning 4-0 was against Motherwell, and they never done it.
No, sorry, it's Hamilton Kelly in the final day. Motherwell host Ross County.
Hamilton Kelly, that's.
But I mean, Ross County go to Motherwell, so.
Right, well, as I was saying, nice segue into talking about that team, Ross County. They were hopeless as well last night. A 3-1 win for.
Well, they went ahead, to be fair, and they had big opportunities to go 2 and 3
0 up. Signature collapse against these.
You didn't see it, so.
No, this is the one I did see.
No, the one you saw was Celtic Aberdeen, you liar.
I said I seen one.
So wait. So you
tell me about one of the goals.
Penalty, 90th minute.
Okay, tell me about another one of the goals.
Lee Erwin.
Okay, and how did that goal come about?
It went in the back of the net.
Nah.
But I do know. I haven't even clicked in the game yet. Look, I'm just going to hear.
Yeah, well, how was the goal created for Lee Erwin then? What happened?
Well, the ball comes to him and he shoots.
Aye. Well, he doesn't. He headed it, but it's fine.
Yeah,
it's up to you.
So they get the early goal. County get the goal for
Look, my job is purely just to host.
And you're making an ass of it, right?
Just don't make the statement after it then, because I thought County. I think Hughes.
Dave Jones doesn't come in with his opinions on Monday Night Football.
Does he not?
No.
Does he not?
And if he does, he doesn't get them wrong.
We want your opinions.
He can't be wrong with an opinion. An opinion is an opinion. Fact can be wrong. Well, opinion can't be wrong.
You're getting the facts wrong as well. He comes to when he shoots.
No, Hughes will be disappointed because he had the opportunities. Big Jordan White put them ahead 1-0.
And the biggest disappointment is having known that Hamilton had been beaten to then not take advantage. I mean, 6 points, it would have been done last night. Accies would have been down last night had Ross County had won. It looked like they were going to do that. 3 points is still overturnable, so it's still that question. But County, yeah, it's a tough one. I would worry about them if they finished in 11th. I'd worry about them against a Wraith or a Dundee or a Dunfermline, if I'm honest. But we'll see. But St Mirren though were really good, and it was surprising because we talked about this on Tuesday that teams in this bottom half of the split who don't really have much to play for don't tend to really be at the races as such. Motherwell were and St Mirren were last night. The reason that I was talking about the Lee Erwin goal, because by the way, what a cross from Richard Tate that was, by the way.
Amazing. Good, wasn't it? Brilliant.
Left peg and
the way the cross goes along the ground and then it hits him. It
was lovely again though, poor defending.
Yeah.
He's big. Lee Erwin's in the middle and he's the biggest guy for them up front. They've got to be closer to him, but the ball was absolutely delicious. And then for there, Dunmoss gets the second.
Yeah, McGrath gets a penalty.
And McGrath gets a penalty.
Yeah. Jim Goodwin. I don't know if Jim Goodwin was sitting in the stand. I'm assuming that was their choice, but he was.
I'd imagine so. I don't remember anything being said about.
Such a handsome fella, Jim Goodwin.
He is good.
He's done well through time.
What a job.
Like, see, you look back. He's one of them ones. You look back and you go, oh.
It's weird. Do you know? I never actually remember this. Celtic played Alloa at Celtic Park a few years ago, maybe in 2016, 2017. And we played Alloa in the.
Was that the one Craig Gordon killed one of the Alloa players?
And Jim Goodwin was playing that night.
Was he?
No. I didn't even notice it until I've seen a photo. I was sitting looking at a photo of Celtic walking off the park and victory. And it was Jim Goodwin.
He was such a dog of a player in the middle, but his teams actually played reasonable football. And I saw another thing yesterday. Peter Grant is the first Alloa manager in ages that's not gone to St Mirren. Who took Jack Ross, took Jim Goodwin, but not Peter Grant.
Well, we'll move on to.
Wait, there was something else I wanted to say about that game. I can't remember what the hell it was now, but you've just moved on, so it's melted it for me.
On you go.
What was I going to say there?
3 settings.
Shit.
We'll put the timer on them.
Oh, aye. I said the other day that we were talking about Celtic players leaving. That some of the best business that doesn't excite fans is extending contracts. One of the best bits of business in the league this season, St Mirren extending Jim Goodwin's contract, because that was about a week before Derek McInnes got sacked at Aberdeen. And if it wasn't for him being nailed into a contract, you'd imagine Jim Goodwin would have been a candidate for that job. Definitely someone they'll need to protect, and having got him down to the contract is
well, right now he's in quite a good position, because if you look at maybe what happens in Scotland over the next kind of couple I'd say between now and the start of next season, what kind of jobs is there realistic that it would open up for him? That was the one I was going to say. Maybe Hearts with
Dundee
Nielsen.
United, maybe.
I suppose Mickey Mellon might take that Doncaster job. Forgot that was in the talks. But in all seriousness, I don't know. I think right now, would you not rather stay at St Mirren, who look as though they've got? I think I'd rather stay there with a lot of ambition.
If Aberdeen had come from it, I don't think.
No, take away. I'm taking off Aberdeen and Hearts from the table here because I don't think those will happen. Right now.
I don't think he'd jump ship Dundee United. No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he would. So I think the only real threat would be if Nielsen does leave Hearts. Then again, will they go over Robbie Nielsen?
The thing with St Mirren though at the moment, hate to bring it back to this, but they've got a wee bit of a cash injection. So he gets a new contract. They also beat Brophy. They beat Aberdeen to Brophy's signature.
You talk about clubs heading in the right direction. They're certainly one.
Certainly there, and they're heading towards
the ambition of St Mirren, I think for me, would be beat off the likes of Dundee United.
And plus, because that new contract Hearts, I don't think it would pay the competition anyway. Because you know.
Okay, final couple of games to cover here in the Scottish Premiership games of last night. Hibs 2, Livingston 1.
Leaving you lot to last, isn't he?
Leave the best to last. That's what it's saying. Keep them watching.
Sorry, we're interrupting his hosting. Better let him back to it.
Well, sorry, hosting. Who's hosted this for 56 episodes? Who's been on every single episode? Me. Thank you very much. You. Mr. No Days Off right here.
Apart from last night when you weren't on, and Monday night when you weren't on.
Look, Hibs 2, Livingston 1, Kevin Nisbet, a goal again, mate. We were talking about this. I don't know if we were on camera when we were talking about it. No, we weren't. You were just talking to, I think it was at football with a few of the mates. Or something, I can't remember when it was, but you were talking about how good it is to see Nisbet succeed and see people mailing you when Nisbet scores goals.
That was the podcast.
Was it on the podcast?
I like to publicly give my boy the olive praise he deserves.
Was that on the podcast?
Yes, it was.
Was it? Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it anyway. Back in the goals, Martin Boyle with a penalty as well, and another win for Hibs securing the European place.
Football, yes. Well, I mean, it was a nice striker's goal for Nisbet. It's their bread and butter as a striker, that. And it's, again, like Lyndon Dykes hitting form at the right time, and with Shanklin not playing games, it's obviously a good thing for Nisbet. So yeah, I mean, Hibs, I don't think Livy were great. I listened to Dave Martindale post match, and he was not happy. He wasn't happy with himself, with his players, and with the referee. He said that he got it wrong with his team selection and the formation, slagged his players for not being at it first half, and the referee for, I think there was two penalty decisions he said he should have got.
Very honest man.
And one that Martin Boyle scored. But Livy were a lot better in the second half, but as he said, you can't go to East Road and be shite for 45 minutes, and that's what cost him.
Martin Boyle absolutely took over that game. Yeah. For all giving Nisbet some credit, Martin Boyle put it in a plate for him, and then he scored the penalty as well, put it away with a plump, won the penalty too. Half big Effie Ambrose. That was definitely a penalty, but I think that was a theme of the evening. There was a lot of penalty shots in a lot of the games.
Well, I mean, we'll come on to the Rangers game as well. Again, there was
just a lot of penalty shots. Even VAR get put into play, basically.
When we talked about the Celtic Aberdeen game, we didn't talk about the Turnbull thing that much. I think there's a massive overreaction about that.
The crossbar to Turnbull.
For me, like the incident of McGeoch, I think it's a massive overreaction.
I think that it's a red card. Maybe.
Yeah, probably is.
I don't think it's as groundbreaking.
No, either do I.
People are making it out as a crime. He's had a wee like it happens.
It's a wee bit snide.
It's like snide, but people are acting like he's went and snapped the guy's leg. He sweeps his leg.
I didn't see that incident.
I
didn't see that incident in real time. I just seen the clip of that incident. Was that to stop him taking the free kick quickly? That seemed to be.
No, I think it's just a kick.
I think it was 1-0. It was just on the ball, wasn't it?
It was 1-0 at the time. No, I think the whistle had went 85 minutes. I think it was on the clock. So
I was listening to the radio at that point.
It's frustration. It's just frustration. But yeah, I think a bit of an overreaction from that. But anyway, so Hibs, we talked about the other day. Good season they've had. European football secured. They're going to secure third as well. They've all but secured. So, and they've still got the cup. So this is Jack Ross is doing well.
He is doing well, and that's a good recovery from that kind of position. Mind when we were sitting on the podcast and people were doubting Jack Ross. You go back to I think it was December time
after the semi-final.
There was a lot of doubts about Jack Ross, a lot of questions around him and his position as Hibs manager. But I feel like he's done well, and since that point to kind of turn things around there.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it looked like Aberdeen were sailing towards third at one point. To be fair, so. They've done alright to get that, and it'll be Europa League qualification for them next season. Yeah, just finally on this game, one thing that struck me about Martindale last night is that he's not dining out in the fact that he did so well for that period that got him the job. He's well aware that he needs to, improve the performance. Because I mean, you look over the past couple of months, they've been a rotten run of form, and he will know that next season he's going to have to fight again to keep them up, because it's always going to be that way for Livy. No matter how well they've done so far, staying in the league is going to be the priority. So yeah.
He knows what's all
Lovely
about.
stuff. And which brings us on to the last game. Dev, I'll let you talk about your team's performance. Denied the 3 points with a 95th minute penalty, but the caravan keeps going for the unbeaten season. So St Johnstone won, Rangers won.
It keeps going. It was an underwhelming game, to be fair. St Johnstone started really well. I missed
Good
the
value
first.
for the point, I thought.
They were. They deserved the point, to be fair. Rangers probably controlled it after the goal and such, but it was a weird one. There was a lot of changes in the match. If you're talking about a player that took his opportunity, we talked about it in the live show, it was Scott Wright. He scored in the 55th minute. There you go. It was actually a really good finish as well.
Yeah,
that man Stephen Davis with the assist. I
just
loved
used
it.
the defender to bend
He
it
just opened up his body
Yeah.
and put it in the back of the net. It was really, really good. But I agree with you. I think St Johnstone were worthy a point. You could see that they're a decent unit within the game. Thought Rooney was good as well. We're all talking about Patterson getting a shout for the Euros.
I've been saying Rooney for quite a while.
Big Rooney's up there, and he was good in the game too. So it was weird. There was a lot of penalty shouts.
So let's jump right now. Was it a penalty at the end? Do you think it was
a penalty at the end? Yes,
I
absolutely.
think it was a penalty,
but there was a penalty instant that there was the referee gave a penalty
and then took it off.
I don't think it's a penalty. The ball comes across the box. Scott Wright kicks it off his own hand. Basically, the ref gives a penalty, and then the linesman overrules it.
You've got a sharp intake of breath.
I don't think it was a penalty either, but what I will say is that the way the handball rule has gone, had it been given, I wouldn't have been shocked. I don't think it's a penalty.
I think it's one of those ones that I think it's one of those ones. If we had VAR accessible, I think I could have went the other way.
Well,
no, because he's kicked it into his own hand. And
I know, but you've seen. I think there's been worse.
But I don't think.
I'm not saying it was a penalty, but I think I've seen them far worse.
I don't think it would have done, because before the ref, before it had gone to VAR, he's already changed his mind. Like, he's gone to his assistant, then they've changed the mind. So then, for VAR to overturn that as a clear and obvious error, I doubt it would happen.
But to go back to the penalty,
but we've got to praise the referee, because I don't think it was a penalty, and between them they got it right.
Yeah, and the last one they got it right as well. So
you love banging the table, don't you?
It takes a man with big bollocks to admit he got it wrong, and then to go at his
it takes a man with big bollocks to slam the table.
Just like
that as well. There you go.
Like a bit of passion, you know.
I'm sure the sound will love it, but the last one, Roof gets a chance. Actually turned the game off.
I seen that.
I turned it off, and I thought it was done. To be fair, I was just like, it is what it is anyway. And apparently, Roof gets the ball about 35 yards out and has a shot in the 94th minute. They play a long ball up. Bassey's on at this point for Barisic. Poor attempt to try and win the ball. Ball goes over Simpson's head. He's not got the awareness to know that Kane's coming in his blindside, and he just flings a foot out of it. So I think it was a penalty, and it was well.
See, I've seen a lot of people try to debate it on Twitter. On both sides of course, the derby, the Old Firm. Both sides of the Old Firm have been kind of debating whether or not it was or wasn't a penalty. People just in general, St Johnstone fans have had a say and such. I just want to make a very quick point. I feel like, and this applies to both sets of supporters, the Celtic and Rangers. There's a big issue with people admitting that fouls can be given on their team's part. I feel like there's too many people who just refuse to acknowledge their team can ever make a foul. I feel like somebody could genuinely go out, two-footed tackle, snap their leg, and a fan of the team will go, it's clean as you like, that's never a pen. And that goes for both. I see Celtic fans do it all the time.
It's not just an Old Firm thing, trust me.
No, of course not. But there's such a pettiness at times with especially Old Firm supporters that they can't admit stuff like that, and it really annoys me.
You calling it the Old Firm supporters?
Oh, of course don't man at McDonald's.
He's calling them he's calling them the Old Firm as well, which will not go down well amongst his core viewership.
Well, I've been the same boat for years. I kind of dance in and out depending on what mood I'm in.
If you feel extra staunch, it's the Glasgow Derby.
Yes, of course. Well, that is us covered everything in the Scottish Premier.
Excuse me, sir, can I really quickly come back to the Rangers Johnstone game? You mentioned Scott Wright make most of his chances. Did anyone else really make the most of their chance last night? I heard a couple of decent things about Roof, some nice touches and stuff.
You can tell Roof's a player, and on best form and full fitness, he will be there or thereabouts when it comes to team selection.
What about Big
Ted? He played that Big Ted.
Hadji's a disappointing one for me, because that was a big chance for him.
It was a big chance for him, but Big Seddles. He got involved. Big Seddles got involved, but he probably didn't get the ball enough. It was just one of the games.
They don't put enough crosses in for him.
Nah. But also, what I did notice in the first half was Roof, Hadji, and Big Cedric were all running into the same areas. So that comes from a lack of playing together, lack of minutes and such, and it's quite similar probably.
Yes.
The Roof and Itten partnership, or them playing close to each other, didn't really work. Roof showed a real bit of quality in the middle of the park where he put Scott Wright through, which he should have probably did better with in the first 20 minutes. So yeah, the standout was definitely Scott Wright, and I think he took his opportunity. The rest were there or thereabouts. It was more even for Roof. I don't think that was a trial for Roof. That was minutes for Roof.
Look, Rangers, who have won the league, doing the right thing, giving their chances now to players who they want to test out. Celtic should take some fucking notes. That's what I'd like to say. I'd like to see Kennedy do the same thing. But look, we may as well move on. David, I'm going to come to you here because you've got a big decision. How much we're going to?
I've got a couple of bits of news that I want to bring up.
Okay, on you go. This is because I was trying to allude to things that I don't know what order we want to put.
I've got a couple of bits of news. Well, first bit of news that I want to bring up is just a quick wee thing that I think we're all going to be very happy with. News yesterday that Kieran Tierney will be back by the start of May, which is fantastic news for the country.
Clap it,
obviously.
Back.
You won't clap it?
Good for Scotland.
You won't clap it? Oh,
staunch off
Jesus Christ.
That's it.
Fantastic news that he's back. I think there was a little bit of a worry that he wouldn't make the Euros.
Yeah. Right, before we go any further. If you want to try and
I love how you opened the floor up for David.
if you want to try and honestly rank where he lies in young Scottish prospects that we've developed over the last 10-15 years, where would you put him?
He's within the top
one.
But you say 10-15 years?
The last 10-15 years, and in terms of
I mean,
young
who's he up
Scottish
against?
He's not up against
John McGinn.
No.
Andy Robertson.
No, I wouldn't put him in the same bracket as Andy.
Robertson was never that much of a prospect.
Exactly.
It was a
Robertson
shock.
just
So we put him Tierney at one,
Yeah, of course. I don't think there's much competition.
Tierney's definitely a generational player. I mean, what was the last? Who's close to him in terms of who Celtic produced previously? No, honestly, was it McGrady?
Aidan McGeady.
Is it?
McGeady is up there probably. I mean, didn't go on to have
McGeady, no.
Didn't go on to have the
There was a point.
There was a point.
There was a point, but he didn't reach it.
No, you're right. Yeah, but we're talking about just straight up as a prospect.
McGeady.
Who's the guy that Celtic always going about for the 80s or the 90s?
Paul McStay.
McStay.
That could be McStay.
What age is Tierney now? 21, 22?
No, he's older than that.
Is he?
Nah, he's 23.
I think it's in McGeady, man.
and
35.
and John McGinn's 26, 27.
So
when McGinn was Tierney's age now, he was still at Hibs.
So
it's kind of
right. Anyway, no, I just wanted to throw. I just wanted to get.
Anyway, back to where I was going. Also, and it's something we've been asked about last night in the live, and something that's been a lot of talk. And I'm actually going to get Twitter open in case I've missed anything on it that's developed today. Kelty Hearts and Brora Rangers are due to play each other on Saturday in the start of the playoffs to join League 2, but there is still no decision being made as to whether or not that game's going ahead 48 hours from when it's due to kick off, because Brecon are still in a period of uncertainty whether or not they're going to get relegated or not. Their argument is that Brora and Kelty have only played 3 games this season, which isn't enough to justify them going up, but then obviously they didn't get the chance to go up last year where they both won their respective leagues. I think pretty much everyone's united in the fact that this is going to be an absolute crock of shit if Brecon stay up. Yes. You've got the fact that Brecon had a member on the SPFL board who's just stood down, but reckon he had a lot of influence last season on the decision. Does he still have an influence? Who knows? But the fact that the SPFL put up that tweet the other day about this is football and all this carry on, this is pretty much everything we were moaning about when it comes to the Super League.
Listen, last year they should have had their opportunity at the playoffs. 100%. They more than warranted it. Borough Rangers were the outstanding team in the Highland League, and Kelty were the outstanding team in the Lowland League. They should have been given the opportunity to try and get up, but they were, maybe the SFA have shot themselves in the foot a wee bit here because they never showed leadership at that point. Yes. Now Brecon are trying to play on that, but I think, as you say, we're totally united. They should be given their opportunity, and if it sounds like they're rattled, to be fair. They know they're going down.
Yeah, of course they are. They've been absolutely shocking. We've talked so much about the stats and stuff, and it's mental that we're talking this much about Brecon City. But
I liked. Did you see Berwick Rangers tweet?
I seen East Stirling's as well.
Berwick Rangers tweeted, Berwick Rangers FC wholly opposed to the new, and then they scored out plans to bring forward an established new European Super League, got to put the lines through it, and it said ... proposal lodged by Brecon City FC that would prevent the chances of them being relegated again.
Yeah, it's just dreadful.
It is. It's a bit all over the place at the minute. I think there's a lot of legal things going on just now between the SPFL and Brecon and such. And then I think there's got to be. I was reading that there has to be some sort of thing they have to seek into whether or not legally they can be allowed to be declared as champions.
So all that shite we had last year.
It's very technical.
But the fact that they haven't, the absolute minimum they should have done is postponed this game at the weekend and said, right, we'll come back to it, we'll make a decision, we'll come back to it. But we're 48 hours away from kick-off.
Yes.
And there's still been no decision.
It's not fair on them either, is it?
So, there will be something that will break on that in the coming days, I'd have thought.
Well, I want to move on to the Scottish Championship because, of course, we had games on Tuesday night, which David is raving to speak about. Well,
we've done that.
But we need to talk about the weekend upcoming. Of course, we also have the Scottish Cup to talk about as well. But I think the Scottish Championship could kind of overhang that at the moment because of a big weekend. David, you are excited, aren't you?
Yes. I'm excited just now. The nerves will kick in tomorrow, I'm sure. ahead of Saturday. So we've got the Championship, still loads to play for. I think, let me just check.
Everything matters this weekend.
Let me just double check this.
What was the Scotland saying again? Was it this tournament? Every tournament qualification in Scotland, nothing matters more. It's always something.
Well, there is 5 games in the Championship this weekend, and there is only 2 matches left, and every single game this weekend has something on the line. That is absolutely frightening, and it just proves why it's such a great league.
Well, Hearts do you a favour.
Well, we'll come to Hearts because I've got a few things to say about them, let me tell you. So obviously there's the battle at the top, battle down the bottom. We'll start with Dunfermline, who play Arbroath on Saturday. Dunfermline absolutely have to win, as they have to do against Alloa probably as well. Arbroath are off the back of a 4-0 win against Ayr United last weekend.
I'll tell you right.
And are also still fighting the battle to avoid 9th spot.
See, come 5:30 on Saturday, if his mob have to win that game, I'm not staying here the weekend. I don't even want to live in the same flat.
I'll just be upset.
You'll be raging. You won't leave
I don't really get rage. I just get upset. I'll just floor me. I'll be devastated.
Wait, not enough pint can he fix?
Let's not turn to alcohol.
True.
So yeah, I mean, Dunfermline play Arbroath, which is just we played them on Boxing Day at home, beat them in the 91st minute of Kevin O'Hara goal. Dick Campbell is one of those managers you don't want to face in a day like this because he will make it as difficult as possible for you. Dunfermline should win the game. They're a better team than Arbroath, but things don't work like that in the Championship.
No,
also, you've got to coincide this since we're talking about the promotion battle. Inverness go to Tynecastle. Obviously, big buddies, Inverness and Hearts. It makes you sick. Inverness are going to be given a guard of honour to Hearts, which is bloke. No, I'm joking. But obviously they're all big pals and all this carry on following the injustice of last summer. So there's lots of talk that Hearts will do the dirty and
so what needs to happen? What's
lying down?
So
what are you talking about lying down?
Dunfermline are a point ahead of Inverness, right?
So basically it's in your hands.
It is completely in Dunfermline's hands. Dunfermline wins the 2 games, they will be in the playoffs. If Dunfermline win on Saturday and Hearts beat Inverness, Dunfermline will be in the playoffs ahead of the final.
The only team who's correct me if I'm wrong. The only team that's secure in the playoffs is Wraith.
Yes.
Wraith will be in
Dundee. So moving on to that game, Dundee play Wraith on Saturday. Now, should Wraith win that game and Dunfermline and Inverness both win, it makes the final day very, very, very tasty because then you've got 3 teams fighting it for 2 spots who all could drop in and out. So it is going to be absolutely fascinating. I don't think it'll go straightforward. I think it will go to the last day. It's just fascinating. But you think that battle is fascinating, you've heard nothing yet, because the battle down the bottom to avoid 9th, you've got Morton and Ayr who look to be in a real perilous position. Morton play Alloa, who've just been relegated at home. So you would suspect that Morton will win that game. Ayr play Queen of the South, who now have nothing to play for.
Well, Peter Grant's gone, of course.
So, I don't think he's gone. I think he's gone at the end of the season.
It's the end of the season, sorry.
So yeah, that's mad. So you've got Arbroath on 29, Ayr on 27, and Morton on 27. Now, should it go the way the bookies would suggest, Dunfermline beat Arbroath, Morton beat Alloa, and that would mean Morton leapfrog Arbroath.
Yes.
Then you haven't got Ayr at Queen of the South. Queen of the South are playing for nothing. If Ayr to win, then it's just going to be a fascinating weekend in the Championship. I can't wait for it all.
If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
What's your thoughts? Go on.
Just my thoughts are, it just keeps coming to me as if it's an epiphany.
You've got this is a crystal ball.
There has been some people saying Alloa have been playing some decent football.
By the way, they're a really
so
good
now
side.
that they're down,
they just
potentially they go and they express themselves to their full capabilities, right? So that's the first thing I'm thinking. They go and win that game.
Right.
Second thing I'm thinking, we are both coming off just
4-0, yeah.
As you say, and Dick Campbell will make it difficult.
Yes.
That game being
Let me just say that Dunfermline have been hopeless for months, but were fantastic last weekend.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And now, because we've been in a position now where we've been, everyone's been catching up on us, now it's up to us to try and catch up in the playoffs.
I'm sitting here making eyes with the camera every time you go boom.
But it's fascinating because there's so many scenarios. There's so many scenarios.
I can't wait, man. It's going to be really good.
Even if you guys do draw the game, you're still 2 points ahead of Inverness if they get beat off Hearts.
Yeah,
so
then you wouldn't be shocked if Inverness went to Hearts and won.
See, well, it's very controversial. Not controversial of you, but very controversial. The things that have been, as you've alluded to there, the fact that Hearts may have a wee lie down.
This does, and it's very light-hearted for me. Hearts still need performances. They were rotten on Tuesday night. Fans want Nielsen gone.
Robbie Nielsen is in a very shaky peg, so it would be quite daft if anything was to be.
He's not going to get sacked because Ambudge will back him, but he needs to get fans back on side. Regardless if he stays or goes, he needs to get fans back on side. So I can't see Hearts doing anything other than. You've also got boys playing for contracts, so.
Yeah. Well, we're about 40 minutes into the show, so let's rattle through some predictions for the games this weekend. I just want a one-word answer as to who is win, losing, or drawing in this Championship weekend, which nothing matters more in. Dundee, Wraith Rovers.
Dundee.
I'm going Wraith. I'm going Rafe. I'm changing up a bit.
Yeah.
Heir and Queen of the South.
Draw.
1-0 draw, yeah.
More draw as well. I'm going to go for Heir. I'm going to go Heir for
That'd be
one
huge.
home, Somerset. I'm going for that.
It's not made much of a difference recently.
Nah, but still. Morton and Alloa.
Morton just.
I'm going back Alloa.
Oh,
I think
I'm
maybe
going
with the
to
pressure
back
being on.
Alloa as well.
Mate.
I'm going to back
That'd be crazy,
Alloa.
the scenes.
That's fine. When you said that, I was like, you know what, I actually fancy that. I was like, I hear what you're saying. So I'm going to go Alloa as well. Hearts Inverness.
Hearts
This is where I'm going to put in my weekend draw. There's my draw this weekend.
I think, as you say, Hearts need the results, so I'm going Hearts.
And then finally, the big one, Dunfermline against Arbroath.
Dunfermline just.
I like the faith. I like that.
For you, I'm hoping Dunfermline, but I think a draw. I think it might be a draw.
That would still be okay though if it has Inverness don't.
As I said, I feel like I have been some sense of false encouragement for David throughout the season.
And I've been pulling you back down to earth.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to go Dunfermline.
Just remind that he tipped Dunfermline to win the league this season.
Yes, I did.
At a point, it looked decent.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be vindicated come the Hearts game on the telly.
Not to win the league,
I
but
was like, oof.
Shite.
What was I going to say? So
Didn't see the monumental.
in a scenario where Inverness lose and Dunfermline win, you're in the playoffs.
It's done, yeah.
That could very well happen, by the way.
But also, you know what I think might happen, and it's just coming to this, knowing the Championship, it would not surprise me if Arbroath were to win at East End Park and Inverness were to also lose, and then nothing changes. Because it'd be so typical Championship. Then you get the final day where I can't remember who Inverness play. Dunfermline play Alloa on the Friday night away from home.
So you're hoping that your theory
for as much as I'm talking about Morton being happy to play Alloa because they're down, that game terrifies me. The thought of going to Alloa on the final day, but we'll see.
Okay, 4 games in League 1 on Saturday. Peterhead take on Clyde. East Fife take on
so fascinating.
Dumbarton. Partick Thistle take on the Mammoth Airdrie. And Falkirk take on
that is, by the way.
Cove Rangers. That's in League 1. So once again,
also McGinley was right, and we were wrong last night when he said Falkirk play Cove this weekend. We told him it was last weekend, so they must be playing.
They did play last weekend?
Aye, well, they're playing again this weekend.
Fucking hell.
Playing again this weekend.
Sorry, other place.
Aye, McGinley have been fucking... what's the word?
Vindicated.
It's because I think this is the split now. You know how they changed the format of the
right,
league.
okay.
So
it's weird though. It's so close together.
Exactly. So once again, I'll dance through the games very quickly. Give me who you think will win. And I'm just going in the same order of David Div me. Peterhead Clyde.
Well, let's quickly have a look at the table first. So Peterhead Clyde. I think Peterhead will win that game.
Okay.
I'm backing Peterhead. Yep.
I'm going to back Peterhead as well. East Fife Dumbarton. I'm going to go. I'll start East Fife.
Yes, feel a bit sorry for East Fife because they missed out on being in that top split.
Also going East Fife, yeah.
East Fife as well. Partick Thistle Airdrie. You can't know back Partick at the minute.
Right, well here's the thing.
Let's give the
two goals against Dumbarton.
I've got one league right.
Let's give the context. Let's give the context, people, because a lot of people watch this show and know fuck all about League 1 and League 2 and learn their stuff of League 1 and 2 of us, which is quite bizarre considering how little we know. But for context, Airdrie, Thistle, Falkirk, Cove could all still win the league title.
Yes, they could.
Airdrie are in 4th on 29 points. Thistle are in 1st on 33.
I think it would take something monumental for Airdrie to win that.
No, it wouldn't. If Airdrie beat Partick Thistle, there's
I am forgetting this is a split act. I'm forgetting.
So this is why it's mental.
Yeah, of course.
So if Airdrie are to win this
that.
weekend, they will go a point behind Thistle, and if Falkirk and Cove draw, Airdrie will be in 2nd place, point behind Thistle.
Many scenarios.
Why have they done the split?
Just to paint this scenario, right? Airdrie beat Thistle this weekend. You'll have Thistle on 33, Airdrie on 32, and if Falkirk and Cove draw, they will also both be on 32. So you could realistically end the weekend with 33, 32, 32, 32.
Right. Oof.
Tasty.
So trying to predict who's going to win that league title is just frightening.
Tell me, Partick
Thistle are the team in form, so you know that would lead me to predict them.
I've been saying it from match day 1, even when they were down they were 6th at a point, weren't they? They were maybe below that, and I still said Partick.
I find it hilarious how passionate you are about these predictions, as if you do in-depth research into them.
Oh, I do.
Rather than just
I do.
Airdrie, they'll go down. They'll go down.
I've been through why I said Airdrie were going down.
Well, why again?
Oh, do you want me to explain that again?
Yeah, I do.
Right, so it was the prediction show, first episode of the season that we're predicting. First episode of these leagues were coming and we're predicting who was going to win and get relegated from the league. So did you say Celtic were going to win the league?
Yes.
I think we were agreeing on basically everything apart from I said Dunfermline would win the league. We agreed on everything.
No, he said Rangers would win the league.
But us two.
Oh.
We were agreeing. We were agreeing on that. Are we on this episode? We were agreeing with everything. We were agreeing with everything. And I got to League 1 and I was like, fuck, I'm going to have to change it up. I can't just copy everything. So I was like, fuck it. And then I was going to say, you said Peterhead, was it you said?
Yes, but nobody else had Airdrie in another relegation battle.
No,
you just
I know, but I had Peterhead in my head and I was like, I can't fucking say Peterhead, I want to change it it up a bit, have it a bit different. And I think Peterhead might have been playing Airdrie that weekend.
So let me get
I
this
just went,
straight.
fuck Airdrie.
Your logic for Airdrie going down is because they were playing Peterhead in the opening weekend.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Fantastic.
That's great.
That's just
I'm looking forward to your predictions here.
top quality.
I'm taking back Partick, yeah.
Right. Fly us through.
What
Come
a
on.
team. Okay, what game were we at there? Sorry. So, fly through the games as we were just about to. We have got Peterhead, Clyde, we all Partick, Airdrie. We all said Partick.
I'm saying draw.
I'm saying draw. Oh,
I'm going Airdrie.
Airdrie.
First the bubble.
And then finally Falkirk Cove. I'm going Cove.
Paul Payton doing the bits for Airdrie just now.
I'm going Cove.
Oh, it was 2-1 in the game last week, wasn't
Yes, 2-1 to the Cove Rangers.
it? At home.
With Cove, is it a Falkirk this week?
It's,
Of course, the Falkirk managers have been
Yes,
sent.
obviously McCracken and Miller are away, so that's going to be very
Make that
interesting.
jump.
You know who? I don't know if it's been confirmed. Actually, maybe I've just not read this, but I should have done. Gary Holt is there as technical director. I wonder if he's taking the team. I haven't actually double checked on that, but
Right.
it would make a lot of sense.
That's what I said.
Ah.
What are you looking at that
But
for?
it's a piss at me.
I think Cove.
Everything's a piss take, innit? Right, okay, let's move on to League 2. Get it done and dusted because we are fucking...
Just incidentally, Airdrie have got Paul Payton and Kyle Tyrrell playing centre mid, Dunfermline centre half. Centre midfield pairing last season are playing in centre mid for Airdrie just now,
God bless them.
which is quite cool.
Right, okay, 4 games across League 2 as well, starting off tomorrow night at where are they playing
Falkirk
now?
Stadium.
Falkirk Stadium.
Or maybe Clyde, I'm not sure. Is it when's the game on?
Queen's Park Stranraer.
When is it?
Oh, tomorrow night.
Aye, probably will be at Falkirk.
Quarter take kick off. Who are we thinking? Queen's
Well,
Park.
Queen's Park are already up, but yeah, I'd imagine they will win.
Okay.
Stranraer playing?
Yes.
6-0.
Keeping the gimmick going strong, aye. Edinburgh City, Stirling Albion.
Sterling Albion, flying.
Nice, okay.
Oh my god.
Up in third.
Draw. I'm going to go draw as well. I'm going to go draw for this one. Albion Rovers and Annan Athletic. Albion Rovers is what I'm going to say.
I'm going Annan.
Going Annan.
Ooh.
Going Annan.
I'm going to go
Did they not
Albion.
win 4-1?
Very tight between them. 1 point that's in between both teams.
Did you say it was Edinburgh that are playing Stirling?
Yes.
Wow, so that's a massive game as well.
That's massive. Huge because they're Stirling,
Huge.
of course, when they go on points
Yes, with Edinburgh.
with Edinburgh.
Nice.
But anyway, Annan and we've got done all that. And finally, the last game of the weekend, Stenhousemuir against Cowden Beast.
Stenny took a pumping off Annan midweek, but Cowden took a pumping off Stirling last week. I don't really know which way they'll go. I'm going to go Cowden, why not? Blue Brazil, let's have it.
Nah.
I'm going to go
Cowden are stinky, so I'm going Stenny.
Actually, aye, Stenny. Fuck it.
Cowden are stinky.
I've got a weird allegiance for Stenny because I've played their pitch, you know.
Have you?
Aye, we've all played.
Oh, aye.
Fucking clown.
Behave yourself.
That's
It's a joke.
Almost.
Right here the heat as usual.
Well, you know what? I'm not exactly intelligent, am I?
Ah, we noticed.
No, yeah. What are the viewers draw the wrong conclusion?
Right, I'll pass the baton to you, David, for the
The
Twitter.
baton.
Tom.
Well, this is interesting because now it's a dual roll of questions
I
because
know, I think we've got some on Insta.
because
Oh, aye, that's right.
Dev is
aye.
now Mr. TSF
Hopefully we haven't
Instagram.
got one, because it's early doors, isn't it?
That's good. I can sit back and be the one that's questioned, you know.
Well, I'm quizmaster today, so
Aye, well.
you want to kick us off with what's on Instagram? I've got a few on Twitter, right enough. There's not very many.
We've kind of covered our Hamilton doomed quite
Yes.
in one word, yes.
So yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Talk about the teams in the lower leagues.
We've done a
and the
lot of
rest
low
the
league.
junior
We've
league
done a low
teams.
league talk
I'll
today.
need to do a wee bit more research in the junior
No,
league
you
teams.
no,
get-
absolutely.
I know I
nothing.
threw a wee bit of the Auchinleck in the last
All
one.
I know is
but
that you get cheap pints and shirts in Junior Social Club. That's all I know.
A lot of cult shells and juniors in the mill.
I know. I heard that. What they're called now.
Glasgow United.
What a lot of shite that is, by the way. It's all
half
right for
and half
yourself.
scarves
I
and
can't
all that.
imagine.
You know what I mean?
The old firm divide is once again. But I can't imagine, say, like, you got a lot of 18s and 21sts and that are in there. I can't imagine you got, like, it's like doing it Glasgow United. Like,
Aye.
years you've been saying Shuttles and Juniors to suddenly being Glasgow United.
Glasgow United.
That's weird, isn't it?
The final one was, do you think that the St Johnstone result gives him a wee
Yeah.
bit of hope for Sunday?
Absolutely.
Aye.
I think it might give him a wee bit of hope, but it was a second string. There was a lot of changes. For
My
them,
only thing
so-
for that
Well, you
is
always have hope anyway. I don't think the result last night would have meant
a bigger amount of confidence.
yeah,
maybe.
they'll know now we can do this, by the way, because
We can draw.
There'll be aspects of that performance last night that Callum Davidson wouldn't have been happy with. You know, that's what he's kind of like. He will look at that and say, right, we did all right, but we made mistakes here. And,
Ooh.
you know, it's a good chance to.
Yeah, have you seen the break? I know this isn't Scottish football related. It was an hour ago, so maybe you have seen it. Did you see why Ed Woodward resigned?
Aye, because he said that.
He didn't want to be in the Super League. He didn't want to support the Super League plans. Wow, I thought he would have resigned just because.
Well, if I was trying to save face, that's what I would say as well.
So, anyway, continue.
Right, Lewis was asking us about thoughts on the League One title race. Well, we've talked a little bit about that, but we didn't say who we think is going to win the title. So
Partick THISTLE.
yeah, I'm going to agree with that. But my reasons for that are a lot more based on what's happening rather than just a nice song.
It's not just. You do realise
What
that
players are in form for Thistle just now?
Joe Cardo.
Aye.
He came off the bench versus Dumbarton, by the way.
Who else in form?
They've still got big. What's his face? Baldy Heat. Connor Sabica.
He's at full club, but anyway.
Zach Rudden, former Rangers. He's
I know they've been
absolutely
doing
fine.
well.
Yeah.
I do look at the results coming through. I might not know what players are all on form. I know at some point they had fucking.
I think Cove.
This was last season because he plays for somebody. It doesn't matter. You know?
That's it, plenty. I think it will with Thistle as well.
I think Thistle for me.
He's just choking to embarrass me now.
No, listen.
Even though I said,
deserve it.
even though one of the things I said Partick in good form is now one of the first things I said.
You got a league fucking table in front of you.
You don't have the league table.
You did earlier on, I saw it, you clown. Plenty of that. Dearie me. Don't just accept it, right?
This is what I do.
No hope for the Bairns then?
Nah.
Nah, day off.
I think they'll finish the playoffs right now.
Yeah, playoffs, but
right. So James, what's his name here? James
James
McDonough asks, and this is a great question that you will hear lots of people talk about, despite the fact that it's got a really easy answer for me. Should Griffiths go to the Euros?
I'm not answering.
Not a hope in hell.
I'm not answering any
he should
more
not go to
questions.
the Euros for me.
No,
I'm not answering.
No, he's not going
no
to the Euros.
comment for you. Not an interrogation.
I kind of want to answer, but then again, I don't want to set everybody off.
Fatboy Beans asks, who do you think is a better?
He's looking at me, he's facing his hands. He knows what I was going to say. I am so against Griffiths even being involved at Celtic.
He should not be involved
but
at the Euros.
Part of me is like, well, maybe there is a conversation we had, and maybe I'm going to the Euros.
Listen, if he was playing and he was scoring, then but he's no.
No, I'm more on the side he should
scoring,
be. Anthony Joseph, was it him last night who was saying
Anthony
he should
Joseph
be off to the Euros?
Just nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Fatboy Beans asks, who do you think is a better mover, groover and lover, Tom Jones or Elvis?
That's a good question, that.
Well, I'm going to go Tom Jones.
I'm Tom Jones man as well.
Tom Jones, the pride of Wales.
You can imagine, he'd have had some...
Considering once.
Aye, Pan Reed, no, it's not. Aye,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
But back in the day, Tom Jones must have been doing, some amount of work back in the day.
You've got to think Elvis and all big army lad and all the rest of it.
I don't know, I've heard a few stories about him, it's quite bad.
He's a mover. Tom Jones,
I'm going Tom. Big
Tom, aye.
Jones.
What a voice.
What a voice.
Both of them, what a voice. Two of the greatest.
More questions on the app, please. That makes me happy. Talking to the league have asked us to talk about the Kelty Brewer thing. I will shout them out now because it was them that I got a lot of the info off for that. So, yeah, opinions. Cam asks opinions on the new British Super League with Celtic and Rangers.
No, I'm going to save it for my own video.
Get so far to fuck, in my opinion.
If you want to see my opinions, there'll be a video on my channel tonight.
There was someone who said to me this morning that they think the Scottish League Cup should be scrapped in favour.
And then make it a British Cup.
I can't tell you how much I think that is a woeful idea for a whole host of reasons. One, if it goes ahead.
And if you go in, each team gets 35 million.
Well, exactly.
I quite like the
right. Okay. Well, let me tell you why it's a lot of shit, right? So you're telling me now, St John's won the League Cup this season, right? So now they don't have that trophy to play for.
I know.
Or if they do, they're going to have to beat Liverpool, Man United, and Chelsea, and Man City to win it.
Listen, Rooney can do it, and Big Rooney.
Why the hell would we?
What is he called?
Bellshill Cafu. If they get rid of that, if they did that, it is purely for money, and we would be just as bad as those involved in the European Super League.
Do you know he makes me laugh though? I know this is totally against everything we're saying, but see Rooney, he's obviously like a Celtic fan. See if you look on his Twitter, he just actively like tweets things about Celtic, even though he plays for St John's.
He's liked a few of my tweets.
It's funny,
he likes a few of my tweets sometimes.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough.
Don Thomas does that as well.
He scored against Celtic, and then after the game he was like pure buzzing, trying to get Edwards' jersey.
But I don't mind that because we all moan about players not having personality and stuff.
But when you play for a team that plays the same division, maybe.
Let's just let's come back to it. Let's
continue the conversation. Have you seen Stephen Lawless's Twitter? He's a massive Rangers fan.
I know.
He plays at Motherwell, so he's.
But I'm talking about the Shamrocks getting thrown about and all that. And
it doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me either. I'm just saying it's funny.
If Sean Rooney was playing dreadfully, it would probably bother me a little bit. If I was
a St Johnstone fan, maybe.
No, not when they're flying. If they're playing shite and he's going out Celtic,
look at big Tom Thomas.
Who's he support?
Who?
Tom Thomas.
He's big Celtic man.
Big Celtic man.
No, right, but so what if he was just tweeting stuff about Inverness? This weekend or something?
I think it is a little bit different when it's the big two. I take your point.
Anyway, listen, I want to come back to this. I like the idea of it in regards to not be meaning the League Cup would get. Of course, that's basically impossible because you can't throw in a fourth major competition for a team to play in every season.
Time to play it.
Yeah, of course, it's not possible. I would be in favour of it if it could work, and that kind of means.
What about a British Cup final where the champions play.
Yeah, I quite like that.
For each league, for example, you maybe get a semi-final and then a final.
Yeah, let's do it as a pre-season tournament.
Like it.
Nah,
Don't
That'd
mind
be
that.
better.
Some money.
I'd rather it wasn't a pre-season
But
tournament. Though.
the only way I would like that.
You could scrap the community.
But
shield
before
and do
the
that.
before for like a community shield.
But then the only way I would like that is if say Rangers played it next Monday. I would only like it if the money didn't go to Rangers. It went filtered in the Scottish leagues. So then you've got all the Scottish teams are playing to be champions.
Do you think there'll be a lot of money in it though? That's
Maybe sponsorship,
Sponsorship's
TV
the
stuff.
biggest-
And then
it
so
won't be
you
huge
fight to
money,
become the
it's
British Championship and represent Scotland. The money that gets filtered back down to the leagues. Blah blah blah. I think so anyway.
that would be decent to be fair, but
Right, okay. Right.
Leave Scottish football alone. I mean, there's so many things we can do in the Scottish game to increase revenue, increase interest without fucking going down and playing English teams. Like maybe the league having a main sponsor, that would be a start. I mean, it's been,
but
it's been
there
12
is-
months since they
But
didn't
there is
have
no
one,
denying.
so.
I'm on completely on side to keep Scottish football the same, save Scottish football. I think that we should keep our game. But there is absolutely no way you can convince me there is a way that we can become anywhere near financially as profitable as we would with even a slight competition like that. The money would be huge.
Yeah, but exactly. But the English Premier League can't. It's a top six can't become as profitable without the Super League. But they're still not doing it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm completely on side.
I know,
but
we
I
need,
mean,
we need money, so
yeah, I think there may come a day where something
Okay,
like that
right. But
becomes
say
an
Celtic and
inevitability.
Rangers went and played down south. How much money do you think it's going to interest Scottish football from that? Do you really think it's going to filter down to teams
no,
in
I
League
know
One,
what
League
you're
Two?
saying, but
It's not going to benefit Scottish football.
Scottish
as a whole.
football as a whole does need an influx of money though. Like,
Yeah,
even
I
the
get
SFA,
And that's what I'm saying for a British
Like,
Cup. It might
There are
come
ways
to-
you
it
can do
might-
that without pimping out the old
But
firm.
it might
That's
get to
the
the
only way
point
you're
where
gonna
something.
get
It might
eyeballs.
come to the point where a British Cup becomes an inevitability.
But then, so you've got
because
say
they
you've got
need
Celtic and
money
Rangers
like that.
playing in a cup with teams down south. You cannot convince me it'll get filtered back in to benefit Scottish football.
No,
It will
probably
benefit. How will it?
Because it'll still be TV, you'll be showing it for the
Aye,
teams
but if it's just
surrounding
Celtic and
all
Rangers that are
leagues.
involved, the money's
No,
not
it
going to
wouldn't
go
be. I'm not talking just a Celtic Rangers. I'm talking like this situation we're talking about St Johnstone. We'd be playing Liverpool and that. That's the
It's
kind
just
of stuff
never
I'm
going to
talking
happen though.
about. I know, but it might come to the point where it becomes a very realistic possibility.
No, it definitely won't.
Conversations keep
It
coming on.
definitely won't.
And not
Because there's
saying
no
to
money
Liverpool,
in
I'm
St
saying-
Johnstone against Liverpool. So
I'm
why
not
would
saying
anyone
there's
want
no
that?
money in Cambridge United against Liverpool.
I know, but that's part of their domestic setup. So what you're saying that they shouldn't
I'm
play the
not,
FA Cup?
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm
And
just
actually,
saying
yes,
one
there
day
is
it
because
could.
they've got the whole market of the romance of the cup and all that carry on. That sort of fixture does make money.
What about the romance of St
Scottish football
Johnstone?
does need more fucking money though. That's just
We
the
want
fact.
more
So we
fucking
need-
money now.
But it's such
we
a
need
lazy
more eyeballs.
argument.
We need to try.
Why
and
is it- why is
we
it,
need to negotiate more. We need to make it more attractive.
What is
and
it?
stuff,
What's his
like-
face? Live Aid guy. What was his name?
Couldn't tell you.
Irish cunt.
Oh,
What was his name?
strong
That
language.
is wrong.
What was his name? Irish
At
cunt.
least I won't be getting phoned by my mother to tell me off my swearing today. I'll be like, get nine tail.
What was it? What was the Irish guy that done Live Aid? What's his name?
I don't know. Stop
I
shouting.
genuinely
Live.
can't even.
What's his name?
Paddy McGuinness.
No,
He's
the
English.
big Irish guy, and he sits in the
Darryl
like,
Breen.
No, he's like right at the start of like during Live Aid, he just sits there in front of the camera and goes, "We want all your fucking money." Like he just right at the camera.
I don't know. Should we move on to the quiz?
Nah.
I'm going to find this guy's name.
Well, you're about to compete in the quiz, so you better not.
No, I'm going to get it right now.
Right, I would like to thank Mr. Ned Stewart for.
Bob Geldof.
Never heard him.
That was his name.
Never heard about Geldof.
No.
That's him.
You can't even know his name.
Well, I didn't know who he was on about.
I know,
I've heard
but
about
still.
Geldof. Right, Ned Stewart's giving the quiz. I want to thank him. I also want to thank. I'll give a shout out to people who've sent me quizzes. So James McKenzie sent me quizzes. What else? Aaron, Kieran, Alan, Mark. There's been loads of people who've sent me quizzes. So thanks a lot, guys. I'll probably use some of them in future episodes. Anyway, so we'll start with Ned, who has got now. Get me a head or tails thing on the go.
Oh, right.
Because I think set A or B will make a difference in deciding who wins this
Sorry,
question.
heads or tails?
Now let's see the result here. Oh, Div, heads or tails?
Heads.
Just sometimes it takes a wee minute. You've got to give her time. One
sec.
second.
It's
See,
not-
she's confused.
It's not a difficult.
She's
question.
she's fucking confused, right? You just got to
She's
give
got
her
no
a
change in her
minute.
pocket.
She doesn't
Alexa
know.
just shits on Siri, doesn't she?
She doesn't know
Oh.
what currency to use. She's a bit baffled.
She's very, very
I could just do it in Google because that'll probably beat it.
That's horrendous for you.
That is
Siri,
terrible,
heads
isn't
or
it?
tails?
This is shocking.
Time to get a fucking coin.
Tails.
Date with
Tails.
that.
Ryan's first.
Oh,
wow.
right now.
Tails.
This is big because
Right,
it's not
set
just
A or
a,
set B?
it's not just a case of like going
Because actually,
Does he listen? No.
that
that's
didn't
the
really
question.
decide. That didn't really decide fuck all, really. Actually,
No.
I am going to go for set B.
right. Set B, okay.
I was
Right.
going to go B or not.
Yeah.
I want to say that the questions aren't difficult. They aren't really. Some of them are really easy. You should get a lot of them right.
Right, wait,
So-
before we go any further, let me change the card over in case we don't have a fucking memory.
Okay, cool. And we also have a tiebreaker question as well. But the tiebreaker question I might change because the tiebreaker question is a little bit easy.
I'm Mark, your
quizmaster. Question 1: Who was the second man? No. Right. So that was pretty shite. Actually, apologies. Overused. Right.
It was worse than my atmosphere joke.
Yes, and that took some doing. Right, so you're going first. Div's going first. Right, so Div, Name both clubs that Barry Ferguson has been a permanent manager of in Scotland.
Ooh, good question.
Clyde. Kelty Hearts.
Yes, well done.
I'd have got that.
Yep. Ryan, question 2. Well, first question for Ryan.
Yes.
The last player outside the Old Firm to be top scorer in the Scottish Premiership was?
William Boyce.
Well done.
Ah, good start.
Nice,
We're
nice.
off to a good start.
Right,
here.
Dev.
This is Johnny Macarona.
In the top 4 divisions in Scotland, which club is alphabetically last?
I was going to say that something daft there, but I should probably think it. Alphabetically last would be.
Oh, out of the top 4. Like.
Yes.
Diddle-diddle-doo.
So Prem Champ, League 1, League 2.
Diddle-diddle-doo.
I think I might know that.
Stenhousemuir.
Incorrect, it was
Stranraer.
Stranraer.
Oh, I would have got that.
Very
I would have
close.
got
STESTR. So
that. So Stenhousemuir is STE,
I
and
know.
Stranraer is STR.
R comes after E in the alphabet.
Oh, you can't.
It's 2 C-bombs now, dearie
My
me.
spelling was off there. Why did
I actually dropped one earlier than
why
this
was
show.
I thinking an A for Stranraer? What an idiot.
Stranraer.
What an
Right,
idiot.
so second question for Ryan, chance for him to take the lead. What number does Stevie May wear for St Johnstone?
Oh, Christ.
I'm not getting this.
I would get this.
Aye, same.
Is it? I don't know why. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking like it's between a range. It's between the range of.
That's a number.
It's a number.
Between 1 and 99, I'll get you that.
Is it number 15?
It is not, it's number 14.
Bastard! Oh, bastard! You.
It's slamming the table now. So we're still one piece after 2 questions each. A relatively easy question from Div here. What club did Aberdeen sign Lewis Ferguson from?
Hamilton.
Yes. Question for Ryan.
Mighty Ackies.
Who is currently Hibernian's longest serving player?
Currently the longest serving player.
Yes, as in currently at the club.
I've got mine.
I know what that means.
Oh, I'm just making sure that we're not having.
Trying to think who's in a. Right. Oh, surely it's.
I think there's 2 answers here.
There's 2 people I'm thinking. There's 2 people I'm thinking of. Right. There's 2. Oh, hey, Louis
Eastham.
Stevenson.
It is
Surely
Louis Stevenson. So
aye,
we're 2
aye.
apiece.
Who were you thinking?
Paul
David
Hanlon.
Gray, I was thinking.
I was
Paul
thinking
Hanlon
Gray and
was it?
Hanlon.
I was thinking. No, Louis
It
Stevenson.
is Lewis Stevenson. Yes, right. Question for. Hold on, let me see here. So, who went first there?
Div's next. So it's currently
It's
2
two
each. But
This
he
is my
Div's on
fourth.
his 4th question.
And you're on your.
Okay, cool. The question I thought you were going to get is actually going to Div.
Oh, brilliant.
Who scored the first goal against Rangers in League 2 in 2012?
Oh Christ, I would never have got
Who
that.
scored the first
Who
goal?
scored the first goal against Rangers in
Player?
Division 2, as it was? Sorry, it was Division 3 back then, wasn't it? Which player scored the first goal against Rangers in 2012 in Division 3?
Fuck me gently with a bard man.
I think this is easy.
Lawrence Shankland.
No.
Played for Queen's Park. I
It
don't
was
know.
Rory McAllister from Peterhead.
Oh, come on.
I know.
Because you must have remembered it was
I know,
Peterhead. And
but,
then I think
can you
forgot
think, mate?
that. Yeah. Well, okay.
That's
So chance for Ryan now, and it's an easy question. I'm sorry, it is a really top scorer in the championship last season was.
Lawrence Shankland.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, I just gave you the answer. I was trying to answer his
Right,
question.
Dev.
He needs to get this right.
You need this.
I need this.
Who has the 3rd most Scottish Cups in Scotland?
Ooh.
Who has won the 3rd most Scottish Cups behind Celtic and Rangers? Who has won the 3rd most Scottish Cups?
Oh my
I
god.
think I know.
If I don't get this.
Now, this is something, and because Ryan got such an easy question, I'm going to give him a slight hint. Something we mentioned a little bit in terms of Scottish clubs with heritage on Tuesday's podcast.
Scottish clubs with heritage.
When we were talking about like Super League
Aye.
clubs not having history and stuff like that, we mentioned this club then in that conversation. Because
Brilliant.
you got such an easy
I've only
question.
got 2 in mind here.
I feel like.
Can you flip the coin?
Can I flip the coin?
Do you know which is which?
Fuck me. I don't remember.
You'll kick yourself.
Can flip the SD card.
Aberdeen.
It's Queen's Park.
Oh, is it Queen's Park?
Queen's Park.
So I said a fucking Queen's Park player for League 2.
Yeah.
So I've won.
We talked about Queen's Park the other day about.
Why was I just thinking? I mean, that's such an obvious answer in retrospect, but I was thinking that shouldn't have won.
Right, well, I've got one last question anyway.
And well, again,
All or nothing.
this was your last question is also an easy question.
All or nothing. Whoever gets it first, the winner.
Well, hold on. If we're going to do that, then
Well, let me hear my last
the
question.
last question was which is higher, the highest fee paid for a player between 2 Scottish sides, or the highest fee paid for a Scottish player from another league? So, like a player transferred from Scotland out, or Scotland to another Scottish team. Which
Well,
fee was
the
higher?
highest between 2 Scottish players, is it still Brown?
Well, I can't tell you that, can I?
Is it still Scott
Oh,
Brown?
it's easy this. Surely.
Who's the most expensive Scot to be
But
brought
I'd
in?
like your answer, please. What's
So
higher?
the most expensive Scot to be brought into
No,
Scotland?
to be sold out of
Between two.
Scotland.
To be sold out of Scotland? Oh, surely that.
Yeah, it is. It's
surely.
Fucking hell.
I mean, surely.
Tierney,
Celtic for maybe it is Tierney now actually.
Tierney, 25 million.
Hold on, let me just check.
Tierney.
No, sorry, I made an ask the question.
Oh, you can't.
So I win.
I made an ask the question. The question I should have asked, or the highest fee for a player out of Scotland that wasn't from Rangers or Celtic.
That's another question.
Still wouldn't have been right because it's Craig Gordon.
Craig
Gordon Hearts' son was 9.9 million. Scott Brown 4.5.
No, Hutton's add-ons took it.
But there is a tiebreaker question here though. No, that's all I'm saying. There is a tiebreaker question.
So what you're saying is you want me to double on that?
Well, I'm just saying in the interest.
To be fair, I think I had harder questions.
In the interest of fairness and sporting integrity.
Sport integrity.
We love sporting integrity.
We love sporting integrity.
I think it's a closest to question.
Oh, right. Okay, let's do it.
Right.
On the line.
I'll let you go first because.
No,
you're ahead.
The winner has.
Yeah, he can go first.
Surely the winner would go second because.
You don't want to go second. Do you? If you want to go second, you go second.
Okay, let's just go. Right, go. Fine.
What is the combined total of Old Firm goals scored by Ali McCoist and Henrik Larsson?
Oh, Christ almighty.
Fucking hell.
Just Old Firm goals.
Just Old Firm goals.
Combined
Total between the two.
Christ.
Closest two gets it.
I am going to go for...
I've got my number.
I've got my number. Do I do it at the same time?
You want to count as doing?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
55.
I've only said 22.
22?
I'd like to announce that the winner is Mr. Sharp Dev.
22?
The answer's 42.
Is it?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
22? I think Coisty scored that in one season.
It was 42. Just for a bit of fun, how many didn't Coisty got?
Coisty, I think, was in the 30s, wasn't he?
I thought 12 and 10 respectively.
How many do you think Larsson got?
I thought about 10.
Larsson, I reckon, got about 20.
How many do you think McCoist got?
18.
I thought he had literally about 12.
Well, Ali McCoist had 27 and Henrik Larsson had 15.
So I wasn't far off with 10 for Larsson.
But you were just far off for the actual question that was asked.
Dev's
the winner. Dev's the winner.
Okay.
I can't believe I said 20.
I genuinely thought it might have been early 60s for some reason. That's why I went 55 for the banter.
22.
I thought you were going to go higher.
I fucking wish I did do.
Oh well.
Christ.
Well,
I don't think I've swore today in this podcast.
that was a great question.
I'm making a concerted effort because I'm so much stick for swearing.
How you in so much stick for swearing?
Just every time my mum and dad phone me, get told off for swearing.
Aye, but it's just natural, isn't it?
No, I don't know.
Part of life. Lucky my dad doesn't watch even have a fucking heart attack.
Well, some of the stuff Stevie says in front of the TV would probably give other people a heart attack and say like they're playing.
Aye, well that's it. That does today's show. TSF number 56 is over and out.
Going for 57.
Going for 57. I hope you're not saying that in the next couple of years. Any final thoughts you'd like to get off your chest before we wrap up the record?
No, just I'm excited for this weekend. Excited to watch, see how you get on with your hosting. I hope you have a better gig at the hosting than you did today.
Because I think we forgot to talk about Scottish Cup.
Sorry, I can do that tomorrow.
Live show. Catch that in the live show.
You want a Scottish Cup preview? You know where to go.
So what happens when the film art in the cup? My
I like how you spoke about Mourinho last night. That was nice.
Even though it's a complete waste of time.
This on home?
Yeah.
Do you know what
Everybody
this
was saying in the chat, is he Specky one?
Better off
So he's back.
Do you know what this means?
Is how many times you
Free
have...
nil, but also free Premiership titles. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Good night.